This story begins in a world where there are several continents, and witch hunts are allowed. On the road, bathed in the sunset, a cart was driving with a witch, ready for God's judgment. The animals, seeing the cart, ran away, and the captive herself began to sob loudly. The court has sentenced yet another witch in the magical kingdom, and her fate is death. The main character is the antagonist of this story, Haley, who was known as a witch. The inhabitants of the kingdom hated her for her character, and for the fact that she was a real bitch. But no one but us, the reader, knows the truth. In fact, our heroine was not Haley. She ended up in the body of a witch. The people of the continent love Haley very much, to the point that they wish her death in hellish torment. Haley was sentenced to die in the most terrible place, Castle Moran. The villagers don't know love. They throw rotten eggs and rotten tomatoes at the girl. Haley holds on bravely and endures all their screams. In short, we have a procession of Cersei from Game of Thrones here. Our heroine is a traveler from another world, and she is perplexed by the source of so much hatred in people and how the witch deserved it. Was Haley really that bad and vile that she deserved flying rocks and rotten vegetables? Haley was betrayed by the king she worked for whom she killed people. Haley cursed people to raise a new king to power and took on the sins of her clients. And now, while she is being transported, these little people have become the main characters. The fantasy takes place in a novel where Haley, the main antagonist, eventually dies. Haley is taken to the very outskirts of the village, and she tries to understand how she ended up there and who she was. But her guards are too superstitious to talk to her. Haley was so evil that the guards feared she would curse them. The girl, like most readers, sympathized with her fate and decided to take matters into her own hands. Having become Haley, our heroine decided to first adapt to her body. She suddenly attacks the cage where she is being held and tries to reach one of the inquisitors. Haley threatens that she will curse everyone, and she will not allow herself to be treated like this. Haley has to give up the cloak to keep her quiet, and the travelers continue on their way. Haley believes that life is really a joyless thing. On the one hand, getting into a novel is good, because you can escape from the gray everyday life. But playing the role of a villain is not the best solution. Haley Marin was a villain who practiced witchcraft, but she just wanted to be loved. Haley was ruthlessly used by those she considered allies. Haley became obsessed with money and wanted to get richer and richer. But this was her undoing. Her witchcraft practices were eventually revealed. Haley was called a demon who seduces men and brings death to everyone with her magic. She was given a death sentence, to be taken to the cursed castle of Marin. Haley became a villain, sentenced to a fate worse than death. The three kingdoms wanted to cut off Haley's head, but agreed on her exile. They decided to send her to the castle, where she would become a living corpse and forget who she was. Anyone they don't kill is sent to the cursed castle. Haley wonders if the king died because of her. The guards tell her that they are following orders and that Haley will soon be thrown into the castle. A year later, Haley is slandered for dying in a cursed castle. The guards arrived at their destination and suddenly stopped the carriage. Beneath their feet, the ocean stretches out, raging waves crashing against the rocks. Haley is puzzled. Did they really come to the ocean? The cart suddenly stops and becomes uncoupled from the railings. Haley hears a strange sound, and the next words sound like a death sentence. The cart is driven to the edge of a cliff and falls off it. Haley is thrown off a cliff with the instruction that God will watch over her. Haley is terrified that her life will turn out like this, but the cart is already falling off the cliff and plunging into the depths of the ocean. The guards ask Haley to die peacefully without objection. The waters close over her, and Haley begins to fight the water. Haley is drowning and realizes she can't breathe as the water keeps closing in on her. The cart sinks deeper and deeper into the sea depths. Haley searches for a way to escape, and she finds it unexpectedly. She decides to cling to the tree roots that grow under the water. So Haley manages to save herself by clinging to the roots. Suddenly, someone's strong little hand grabs Haley's hand. Haley is pulled onto some river and falls down exhausted. Haley feels unwell, as if she can feel the power of darkness penetrating inside. Haley loses her magical abilities, and someone nearby cries in pain. Some child asks her how it happened that she grabbed her by the hair. The child asks her how she ended up here. A strange child asks her if she has come to cleanse him and the other inhabitants of the forest. Haley is shocked. Did she ruin someone's hair? In front of her sits a charming child, an elf, whose hair she mistook for tree roots. Haley asks the child who he is and how she ended up here. The dryad child tells her that he was dying in the lake, but the girl cleansed him. Haley thinks she's a really cool witch. Haley asks him to take her to Marin Castle. Haley gets to know the boy in more detail. Cipollino explains to her the structure of the island and how to get to the castle, but someone sneaks up on them and prevents them from going further. Cipollino notices that the heroine does not listen to him and gets angry. Cipollino is glad to have company, but he believes that the heroine will listen to him better. Suddenly, a demon in the guise of a hare appears and threatens the heroes. Cipollino is horrified. He forgot that terrible creatures live here. The hare begins to chase Cipollino, and he tries to escape. Cipollino is afraid that he will die at this rate. The hare runs up to her and disappears into the bright flame on her chest. The rabbit was cleansed of evil magic as soon as he approached Haley. Cipollino wonders who Haley is. Dryad decides to investigate Haley, but it leads to nothing. The little dryad decides it's time to act. Haley is shocked that she can cleanse the world. Dryad and Haley think about how her powers can help. Haley is curious why the dryad was waiting for her here. Haley decides to get to the castle so she doesn't have to. The rabbit lay down here, and Haley sees that her magic is helping. Haley learns that everything she touches becomes clean. Haley has a rare gift of healing. Haley is amazed by her magic. She doesn't expect it to have such an effect. Haley believes that she is the chosen one and must have special magic. Cipollino thinks she's the coolest girl in the world. The dryad asks her how she got here. Haley lies and says that she has done many innocent things. Haley disappoints the dryad by saying that she is a criminal. Haley is full of confidence that she can change her life. Haley decides to climb the tree, and she goes to the castle. Haley decides to survive and start her new life in Castle Maron with the dryad. Haley is very sad that she has to be the villain of the novel. Haley is amazed that her magic revives and has the ability to heal. Everything Haley touches comes to life. The dryad asks Haley to save her strength to heal something. The road to the castle is very strange. Haley and the dryad are captured by monsters. Dryad. Cipollino asks Haley to be careful, and she learns that it takes half a day to get to the castle. Haley is called stupid, and she is upset that there is nothing to revive. So, having gone through a long path full of filth, the heroine finds herself in a castle. Haley barely made it to the castle, all rumpled and battered. They arrived at their destination, a tall and gloomy castle, similar to Notre Dame Cathedral. There is a gloomy atmosphere all around, which frightens the poor girl. Haley is glad that she arrived at the castle, but the dryad is hungry. The castle doors open, and our heroes enter inside. There were magical seals on the doors, but they are disappearing. The doors open, and Haley enters the castle. Inside the castle, a dark atmosphere reigns, and this changes everything. Haley decides to change her life in the gloomy castle, and a place is created, a comfortable place for death. A year passes, and Haley has created a vegetable garden in the castle. Haley is puzzled as to why people are angry and bringing her offerings. Haley tells Cipollino that it is necessary to forgive and let go of grievances. Dryad thinks Haley is very stupid and does a lot of things. Haley tells Cipollino that things have blossomed here. Haley is glad that the strawberries are finally in season. It wasn't in the novel, but the dryad turned out to have a talent for farming, and she and Haley started a vegetable garden. Haley is living a new life, and she's like Katarina from Reincarnation in the Otomi game, where she was into gardening. Haley thinks that she and Cipollino can live together. Cipollino is surprised by her strange proposal. He understands all this as harassment towards him. Thanks to her magic, everything here is blooming. Haley became very gluttonous due to the purification magic. While cleansing the castle of filth, Haley's hair turned from red to black. Haley must have used purification magic, but she was starving. Haley believes that one day she will be able to cleanse the lake of its filth. Haley feels like she's in the game. Haley would really like to have another elf to clean and cook. Suddenly, Haley hears something and gets distracted. Someone is approaching Haley with rapid steps. Suddenly, a mysterious zombie appears. Haley is in a panic. She doesn't want the zombie to eat her. Haley was caught by a creepy zombie and he just won't let her go. Haley is scared, and in a panic she uses her cleansing magic. The man tells her in a scary voice that he wants to kill Haley. Haley is in shock. She is the one who took this man's life. Haley defends herself against the zombie and its advances, but he suddenly finds himself in an unpleasant situation. Haley knows this man. He is the one who, according to the novel, is supposed to kill the villain. But Haley is a fool and decides to save her future killer. Haley already regrets that she has to cleanse the lands. The little dryad is unhappy. Why drag men here? The young man looks like he's about to go to his ancestors. In the original novel, the boy cursed Haley. He blamed the girl for trampling on his love and turning everything into a sea of corpses. He believed that the tears he shed for her would curse her. Haley cursed the lands of Marin until she was killed by a man. Haley's death becomes the point of return for demons to the magical lands. 4 heroes who are in love with the main character team up to kill Haley in the original novel. And then there was the man who hurt Haley more. The man's name is Reichardt Winter, and he, having lost his human form, will crush the witch. Cipollino thinks it's strange that he survived. Haley isn't surprised that Reichardt survived, since he's the main character. Haley knows that Reichardt will turn into a werewolf and chase the witch, but with Duru decides to save him. Haley discusses with the dryad what she should do. Haley cleanses the guy with her magic. Haley clears Reichardt because he suffered more because of the villain. She believes that Reichardt's hatred is justified. Haley wonders how long Reichardt has been wandering the contaminated land. The man slowly wakes up. He's not happy with Haley and wants to kill her. Reichardt is curious about how he got here and what she did. Haley panics and tells him that she brought him to the estate. Reichardt is shocked. This is not how he imagined Haley, the bloodthirsty villain. Haley wonders why Reichardt knows she's not who she says she is. According to the original novel, Reichardt lost all his memories upon arriving at the estate. But it's possible that Haley had something to do with this, since the demonic power mixed with Haley's magic. Haley decides this is her chance to change the villain's life. Haley lies to him that she is his savior. Haley takes advantage of Reinhardt's amnesia and convinces him that she is his friend. Haley invites him to have a good time at the castle. And just then, a fireworks display thundered in the sky, marking Haley's successful plan. Haley decides to take Reinhardt to the castle. The castle is beautiful and gloomy from the inside, like a cathedral. Reinhardt is surprised. The estate does not look like what he was told. Haley talks about how she had a very bad time here. Haley was able to use purification magic to allow people to settle here. What people lacked most was food and fire. But without Haley's magic, it's very difficult to survive here. The child believes that Haley is needed to keep the estate running. The dryad flared up. He was busy cleaning the estate, but she was doing nothing. The dryad begins to experience a surge of emotions because he is doing everything alone. Haley asks him to calm down and says that he shouldn't have flared up like that out of a dying fire. The dryad boy begins to command Haley to take care of the household herself. Haley tries to light a fire without magic, but all her attempts are in vain. Haley is doing everything she can to keep the fire going. Reinhardt gives her a long look and doesn't know what to say. Reinhardt decides to help Haley, seeing her futile attempts. Eventually, he manages to light a fire. Haley is amazed and asks Reinhardt how he did it. Reinhardt tells her that he bought a fire-starting device and that a special spell must be cast to make the fire appear. Reinhardt believes she needs to buy a fireplace that supports fire. Haley is amazed that there are things that can improve her life. The wood was heated to make a fire. The heroine is going to tell something to Cipollino, but the heroine herself is surprised. Something is wrong with Cipollino's face. Cipollino looks at Reichardt with admiration and asks him if he wants strawberries. So the house became bright, thanks to Reichardt. Cipollino wants to ask Haley something. Haley and Cipollino are fighting over a blanket. They are both cold. They also quarrel over the strawberries they lent to Reichardt. Reichardt is forced to listen to these two with a stony face. He is surprised that this woman is Haley, the famous villain. He remembers a woman who works with fragile wrists and lives with forest spirits. She is happy with 5 pieces of strawberries. Is this the famous villain? Reichardt watches Haley in surprise, the fire warming him. Reichardt believes that Haley is not that woman and guesses that she is a time traveler. Reichardt was always told that he lived only for his family. For him, there are no friends, only his family exists. Reichardt Winter is a man who was created as the ideal heir to the family. Winters don't know embarrassment, and they have to be perfect. Reichardt must know the answer to his question. Nothing changed, even when Reichardt became the head of the Winter family. He decided to destroy Haley, who was to blame for the death of his family. Grief and pain drove Reichardt to stop Haley. For the sake of revenge, Reichardt was ready to die. But the Winter didn't even kill him. In her opinion, he must live so as not to forget the shame. Reichardt believes that this is hypocrisy from the villain. But Haley just smiles and says that the time has come, and he doesn't understand. With each passing minute, his sense of revenge faded. And one day, a feeling of curiosity remained in Reichardt. Reichardt was shocked by Haley's exile to Castle Marin and the murder of King Holt. Reichardt was surprised by this for a long time. Reichardt is perplexed. How did this bitch deserve to be exiled? He tried to forget about his revenge, even changing his profession. A month and a year passed, and suddenly Reichardt understood. Reichardt's will and revenge were taken away by the expulsion of Haley. Reichardt lost faith in life and in himself. Reichardt decides to complete his revenge. He goes off to find Haley to take revenge on her. However, instead of revenge, a quiet life awaits Reichardt. Haley asks Reichardt to help chop wood. Haley offers Reichardt a strawberry, but he eats it. Reichardt noted that he was communicating with the time traveler. Haley seems to have lost her memory and lives an ordinary life. Reichardt believes that Haley lives too calmly, and he believes that his revenge is pointless. We're starting to get teary-eyed. Reichardt has lost the meaning of life and is wondering how to live. Haley and Reichardt decide to live together until Reichardt finds meaning in life. Cipollino suggests clearing the road quickly, with the help of magic, and going to the village. But Reichardt did not come here to listen to their squabbles. Cipollino thinks Haley is out of her mind. Suddenly, Haley notices something on the map Reichardt hands her. Haley confesses to them that she can't read maps. Reichardt says that at least he can read maps. According to Reichardt, he can do everything, even drive a cart. Reichardt laughs at how much Haley wants to buy. Haley believes his laughter is unjustified. After some time, civilization was brought to the castle. Haley is ready to go to the village to build a castle. Cipollino asks Haley to be careful on the way. Reichardt asks Haley to calm down. She will learn that Cipollino is not a child. Haley is surprised that Reichardt is so enthusiastic about helping her. Haley asks him to wait for her. Reichardt catches her and says that she was hasty. Reichardt warns her about the dangers of purification magic. Reichardt warns Haley to be careful. The day comes and they talk all night. Haley feels that she doesn't have the habit of being in control of the situation. Haley decides to clear the road and asks Reichardt to take her hand. Reichardt is surprised, but decides to accept her hand. Reichardt steps forward and says that everything is fine. They head to the village in a cheerful mood. Haley thinks things aren't that bad here. Haley looks forward to sugar and flour, and Reichardt asks her to be more careful. Reichardt assures Haley that they are halfway there. Haley hates school and doesn't want to learn how to read maps. Reichardt assures her that they will soon reach their destination. But Haley doesn't really listen to him. Reichardt becomes curious about what she saw. Haley's attention was drawn to the ocean with its vast expanse of sea. Haley has rarely been on the surface, and this is the first time she has seen such beauty. Haley thinks it will take time to clean up the ocean. Lake. Reichardt tells her that she was wrong to look at the water. It is ominous. Haley asks him what it would be like to clean up the lake. Reichardt believes that if the lake freezes, it will be possible to clean it. Haley shares her dreams with him, especially that she dreams of a quiet life. She calls Reichardt handsome, especially his eyes, and he asks what she means. Reichardt decides not to listen to Haley's nonsense about her happy future. Reichardt still doesn't understand how Haley changed so drastically. He doesn't have the confidence to live the way Haley expects. They left the castle 3 days ago. After endless paths and roads, they encountered the defiled. They are distinguished from humans by their pale skin and caked eyes bulging from their sockets. These were mostly criminals sentenced to death. Reichardt is curious about how Haley manages to cleanse the dead. Haley doesn't think she can cleanse the dead. Reichardt doesn't believe it and asks her to clean them up. Hay asks him if he wants her to clean them. Sometimes Reichardt would become infected with magic, and Haley would cleanse him. They had to deal with the dead, of which there were thousands and thousands. Anyway, Haley gave him a hard time, but she believes in Reichardt. She is glad that Reichardt has not forgotten how to wield a sword. Reichardt seems strange to her, because he hates Haley, but helps her. Reichardt was exhausted, but he helps Haley. He gave her the most delicious food, and he himself ate the tasteless roots. Haley thinks Reichardt is a good person. Haley doesn't even feel like she's human. Reichardt asks Haley why she became like this. Reichardt wonders if she's scared. Reichardt asks her not to tell him that she is Haley. Haley doesn't understand the reasons for his concerns about her. Haley tells him the truth. Haley wonders who Reichardt is and what he did before. Reichardt decides to tell her the truth about his past. Haley is surprised to learn that Reichardt has become a criminal. Reichardt shares with her his thoughts that he has lost the meaning of life. Haley notices that Reichardt seems to be becoming corrupted. Haley asks Reichardt if he's okay. Haley asks Reichardt how he could think that she would leave him. Haley decides to help Reichardt. She calms him down and directs her magic at him. Haley only asks for Reichardt to be cured. Reichardt was at times tactful and considerate towards Haley. Haley decides she will give him a good ending. Reichardt falls asleep when he sees Haley. Haley is glad that he stands up for him and his amnesia. Haley wants to get him out of the contaminated zone. Haley believes that she will rewrite Reichardt's history, and he will have a happily ever after. They reach the village again and argue about which way to go. They find a village, and Haley is glad that she found civilization. Haley notes that the landscape here is not what it should be. Reichardt asks Haley not to give her name to avoid attracting attention. A certain girl, a waitress, greets them with delicious chicken wings on a tray. In her hands are delicious, crispy wings, just like in KFC. Haley realizes they are at the local McDonald's, and a delicious lunch awaits her. Haley is very eager to try the delicious food in front of her. In the end, they order a fragrant Korean soup and chicken nuggets. Haley is overjoyed and decides to have a tasty snack. But Reichardt didn't appreciate the local food and decided to leave. Reichardt wants to return to the castle and start preparing for life in the castle. Haley lied to Reichardt about not being able to read or write. In fact, within a year, she had mastered the damned letters and words. Haley doesn't feel guilty about deceiving Reichardt. They want to treat Haley to an equally delicious lunch. Haley greedily devours everything that is served to her here. The waitress mistook her for a beggar and fed her heartily. Haley lies about not being able to pay. Haley found a treasure trove in the castle and became rich. Haley also receives free clothing from Cipollino. Haley asks if there's a store here, but she's disappointed. She'll have to sew her own clothes. Haley asks where she can get fabric. Haley asks the waitress to sell her some fabric. They start arguing about Reichardt being Haley's boyfriend. The waitress tells her that there is no better gratitude than money. Haley asks her to sell some fabric. She gives the waitress an old coin from Marin Castle. She is shocked. She thought that Haley was a beggar, but it turns out that she is rich. The waitress's name is Fatima, and she surrounds Haley with love and care. Fatima gave her meat, pieces of cloth, and kitchen utensils. It's not hard for Reichardt to carry all this and help Haley. Reichardt also buys a stove and provisions to improve life in Marin Castle. Haley believes beet seeds are a must-have for her garden. She asks Reichardt what could be better, and he pretends not to be perturbed. Haley tells Reichardt to go and sleep like that dog. They decide to go to the village tomorrow and buy a horse. Reichardt believes that with a horse, Haley's chances of seeing the lake will increase. Haley is surprised that he believes he will clean up the lake. Haley decides to pretend to be full of energy in order to clean the lake. Haley decides to quietly leave so that a new heroine can emerge. She decides to leave Reichardt alone and leave quietly. So Haley leaves the village, leaving him alone. Fatima notices her and asks where Haley is going. Haley tells her to mind her own business and not bother her. Suddenly, Haley notices something and freezes in place. Fatima also gives her some seasoning for Haley to eat. Haley was amazed by her kindness and moved on. Fatima asks Haley to hold on and be careful on the road. Haley decides to give her another gold coin. Fatima is surprised that she, Haley, is throwing around gold. Haley feels like she got a lecture, but that makes her feel better. Haley says she's glad she has a friend. It's late at night, and Haley is afraid to walk through the forest. Haley thinks Reichardt doesn't deserve to be with her. Haley believes she can cope without Reichardt. Rough men ask her why she is wandering around at such a late hour. Haley is scared. She didn't expect such rudeness from men. The men warn her to be careful. Otherwise, Haley will be captured by an evil mage from the forest. Haley thinks they're just coming home from work. The bearded man offers to walk the girl home. He gives her some grass that repels creepy insects. Haley is surprised they aren't bandits. Haley believes the world is kind to her because she's not the main character. A familiar male voice calls out to Haley. She asks Reichardt why he came. Reichardt is surprised that she doesn't know the answer to her question. Haley asks him to go his own way. She also asks Reichardt not to interfere in her life. Haley asked Reichardt to find his way in life as soon as possible. Reichardt remembers her words about happily ever after. He is surprised that the evil witch is holding his hand. She supported him when it seemed that he had forgotten everything. For Reichardt, Haley brought the peace and quiet he craved. Reichardt thinks she's infiltrating his dreams. Reichardt believes that the sun has not yet risen. Reichardt sees that the Marquise's necklace is lying next to him. He immediately runs away from the establishment where he is staying. While the girl runs, Reichardt follows her. Fatima said that a child was waiting for her at home. Reichardt rushed after the Marquise as fast as he could. Reichardt receives support from the Countess, who becomes his heroine. Reichardt believes that their relationship will soon reach a new level. But Reichardt believes it's all in vain. But Haley doesn't need Reichardt. Reichardt is shocked that she left him alone. Haley believes that she simply saved him from turning into a demon. Haley decides to move away from Reichardt. Reichardt asks her if she can live without him. Haley thinks this is her home. She says that Reichardt cannot understand her world. Haley became a victim in the kingdom because of her malice, and Reichardt was the victim. Reichardt is shocked that she was going to leave him. Reichardt is shocked that Haley lied to him. Haley tells him frankly that she lied. Reichardt decides to remain silent, and his face is blank. Haley asks Reichardt to remove the defilement from him. They start arguing. Haley sets him the conditions that she removes the defilement from him, and he leaves. But Reichardt does not want to leave. Haley explains that she hates Reichardt. Reichardt tells her that there is no reason for them to be together. Reichardt says he came for the infection. Haley realizes that Reichardt is adamant. Reichardt tells her about his feelings. There was silence, and they walked silently through the forest. They have a stream running nearby. The water murmurs calmly and is soothing. The heroes walk along the gloomy lake, and they walk without talking. Reichardt is getting worse and worse. Haley notices him turning into a zombie. Haley says that Reichardt shouldn't have been with her because the taint is taking over him. Haley believes he has met a real heroine. She believes that he will find a girl in the person of the main character and will be happy. Reichardt looks at her gloomily and walks towards her. Haley tells him everything she thinks, but Reichardt doesn't listen to her. He wants to go with her. He asks Haley if she's been lying to him all this time. Reichardt realizes that Haley has been lying to him the whole time. Haley doesn't know how to explain to him that she's a time traveler. At some point, Haley got tired of lying to him. Haley leaves and leaves Reichardt alone. Reichardt asks Haley if she's really going to leave like that. Reichardt tells her that he knows she is leaving him. Reichardt has lost all his strength and he cannot get up. Haley realizes there is nothing she can do. Haley decides to take him with her. Haley admits to Reichardt who she is. Reichardt tells her that he knows everything. Haley asks about him wanting to go. Reichardt agrees that he wants to go with her. Haley is shocked by what happened, but is glad that Reichardt is going with him. Haley decides to go with Reichardt, since that's what he wants. We arrive in a village in the northeast of Cassandra. It's a continent. People are talking about how they have sent a lot of soldiers to deal with the filth. Looking at one of the soldiers, they think that they are personally touring the borders. The hero's name is Eugene Windemark, and he is one of the Knights of the Order. Eugene is told that he has more than this in his needs. The girl blames herself for delaying Eugene. Many people think that Eugene is too young, but in the opinion of the servant of the Order, Eugene deserves more. Eugene asks how the investigation in Xena's Gorge is progressing. The Order's servant says that she checked the lists of infected, and they have increased. Among the infected, as Eugene is informed, there are no Haleys. The Order's servant says that it is unlikely that Haley would have survived. Eugene is informed that Reichardt was seen, who survived and was walking through the forest. Eugene is surprised that Reichardt survived. Eugene is amazed that Reichardt went to the infected zone to defeat the heroine. Eugene orders all knights to be summoned. Eugene says it's time for him to go to Selbon. Cipollino thinks he will have to feed another one. Haley apologizes and admits that they now have to take care of Reichardt too. Haley thinks that he came to this house in vain. Cipollino is serious about having food supplies brought to him. Cipollino thinks that Reichardt is suitable for working in the garden. Reichardt is pleased with the thought that the three of them will live together. But then Reichardt faints. Cipollino doesn't know how to cure Reichardt. Haley and Cipollino discuss how to grow crops. Cipollino believes that now they will die of hunger. Suddenly, someone enters Haley's chambers. Haley worries that Reichardt won't live that long, but Reichardt says he will survive. Reichardt pleases Haley by telling her that he will get the food himself. Haley is worried about how Reichardt will be able to get food. Haley is worried that Reichardt might become infected again. Haley makes fun of Reichardt for hunting for food. Haley wonders what kind of loot Reichardt will bring back. An hour later, Reichardt manages to shoot a fat duck. Haley is amazed at how skillfully Reichardt handles the game. Haley laughed at Reichardt when he used the slingshot. But Reichardt managed to catch the food with a slingshot. Cipollino is inspired by Reichardt and wants to grow up like him. Reichardt asks Haley to clear another area. Haley tells him that it's impossible. Reichardt decides to gamble that if she clears the area, she will receive flour. Haley reminds him that she is an enemy of the kingdom. Reichardt listens to her attentively because he is interested in everything. He sharply asks her what she did. Haley understands what he wants to ask her. Haley and Reichardt decide to summon a ghost who will answer all their questions. Reichardt receives the answer that Bandison was an enemy of their family. The man Haley loved was Sybil Bundison. Sybil wanted to become a famous aristocrat, but the fact that he was the illegitimate son of an aristocrat spoiled everything. Haley decided to destroy the Winter family to help her beloved. Reichardt listens carefully to Haley, and she is interested in his reaction. Reichardt doesn't listen to Haley's thoughts about how vile the owner of this body was. Both Eugene and Michelando, the main characters of the novel, were real scumbags in the novel. Haley says she was friends with both of them. Reichardt mentions that Haley was exiled to the contaminated land because of their actions. Reichardt is sorry to call her a genius. Haley and Reichardt start arguing, just like husband and wife. Haley is shocked by Reichardt's lie about losing his memory. Reichardt and Haley agree that they both wanted to survive, so they lied to each other. In the end, Reichardt manages to shoot the bird. Haley realizes that the story is getting a little absurd. Haley is distracted from her dark thoughts by Reichardt. Reichardt wonders if she still loves Sybil, Cyril. Haley is surprised when Reichardt asks her about her boyfriends. Haley doesn't know how to say that she's a time traveler. Reichardt sympathizes with her about Haley's inability to choose a guy. Haley tells him that it seems Reichardt doesn't understand a damn thing. Reichardt tells her that it doesn't suit her. Haley thinks Reichardt is just a jerk. Haley realizes that no one believed her. It pisses Haley off that even Cipollino acts like this. Haley reflects on the people around her. Haley realizes that she could become a parasite in this castle. Suddenly, Haley hears something through the crackling of the fireplace. A giant moth appears in front of Haley. At first, Haley thinks it's Tinkerbell, Disney's Tinkerbell. Haley realizes that this is not an opponent she can defeat. Haley decides to go to another room. Haley is scared as a giant moth flies after her. Haley has a bad feeling about the giant moth. As a result, her scream is heard throughout the gloomy castle. Reichardt and Cipollino come to her aid. Haley decides to show off the giant moth. Haley confides in her friends that they have guests. Haley uses cleansing to make the monster disappear. Haley notes that she can now clean more areas at once. Cipollino laughs at Haley's habit of shouting out cool stuff. Haley shows how she accumulates magical energy within herself. Haley shows Reichardt that she can levitate. Reichardt is curious about what other abilities Haley has. Haley finds a huge spider in a tree. Giant insects aren't enough for her. Haley decides to clean the spider, as many animals here are also infected. Haley watches the spider change. But the spider doesn't want to change, and she attacks them. The spider shoots webs into Reichardt's face, and he has no doubt that Haley is the demon lord. Reichardt is curious to see if Haley can use the cleansing and her magic on people. Haley imagines how much easier it would be for her if everyone was under the power of magic, because Reichardt would be able to go shopping in peace. But then reason wins, and Haley argues with Reichardt again. Cipollino suggests that she use magic on not quite humans. He suggests using the infected as an army of the dead. Haley realizes that Cipollino has a good idea. Reichardt, despite Haley's protests, suggests that she take advantage of Cipollino's idea. Haley is indignant. But what if among the infected there are those who don't fit? What if there are innocent ones? She asks Reichardt if there are those among the dead who did not wish to be infected. Reichardt tells her that she needs to move on with her life. Haley is surprised that Reichardt associates all the infected with himself. Cipollino asks them not to philosophize and to return to life in the castle. Cipollino suggests that they discuss everything in the castle. Haley decides to use demons for her own purposes. In the original novel, the demons became Haley's servants and took on human form. But our heroine is not very keen on using her power in this way. But less than an hour had passed before they were attacked. Haley's resolve was under threat. The team of heroes decides what to do with the demon that attacked them. It turned out that the people Haley met a week ago had become zombies. Haley remembers encountering rude locals. Haley can't believe that the zombies standing here are the ones who gave her the herbs. Haley decides to stop Reichardt. Haley suspects that something happened in Selbon, the name of the village. Meanwhile, the next action unfolds in Selbon. Fatima is asked about where Haley was staying. Eugene asks Fatima where Reichardt was staying. Fatima explains that she cannot talk about the visitors to the living room. The The servant of the order screams about how she dares to be insolent to Eugene. A quarrel breaks out between them, but the whole country is looking for Reichardt. Eugene asks Fatima not to worry and to tell her everything she knows. The servant of the order tries to bring Eugene to his senses and not trust Fatima's words. Eugene orders her to check and search all the houses in order to pick up the traces of Reichardt and Haley. The order's servant explains that the cleansing will take a long time. Eugene claims that nothing will stop them, and this purge is God's will. The servant of the order agrees and goes to carry out orders. Fatima told them everything she knew about Haley, but Eugene is surprised how red-haired Haley suddenly became a brunette. Eugene believes that Haley is alive somewhere. He doesn't believe that the carriage fell off Haley and she died. Eugene does everything out of love for Haley. Eugene asks Haley to wait for him a little, and he will save the girl. As a child, he often asked Haley if they would be friends. Haley says she will always take care of him. Eugene also vowed to protect Haley. Meanwhile, Haley and Eugene are busy clearing out zombies. Haley doubts the idea that she can control zombies and demons. Haley decides to sort things out and leaves the group. Cipollino asks them to go together to the village to check what is happening there. This time, they encountered a busy village border. Reichardt asks the girl to duck and not look further. Haley is surprised at how mean the church people can be. Haley looks at Eugene, whom she sees among the noisy churchgoers. Our hero asks the heroine not to break free, but she can't even listen. Haley yells at Reichardt that she can handle this on her own. Haley and Reichardt decide to observe the actions of the churchman. Eugene suddenly watches Haley. Haley asks Reichardt to leave, and he doesn't understand what's going on. Haley tells him that he must not know that she is alive. Eugene notices her, and a scene breaks out between the three. Many churchmen do not listen to Eugene and decide to catch her. Haley turns to Eugene and smiles at him, but Eugene has no intention of letting his beloved go. They decide to shoot and kill Haley as an evil witch, but Reichardt cleverly defends her from all attacks. Haley sees that they are trying to catch up with her. Haley asks him to hug her and run on. He hugs her tightly, and they run away. Reichardt skillfully fights against everyone who stands in his way. When they almost reached another piece of land, something happens. Haley is shouting that the tavern owner will be sentenced to death because of her. The servant of the order tells her that God will not forgive Haley, and everything that happens is her fault. Haley is furious. A servant of the order has captured Fatima. Haley decides to protect Fatima, and she uses magic. People are terrified. Haley's magic has gotten out of control. The servant of the order is shocked. She did not expect such power from Haley. Haley is surrounded by magic and is ready to fight for her freedom. A certain horse runs up to her. Eugene tries to reason with Haley and stop her magic. Eugene tries to talk to Haley and asks her to stop. To Haley, all his attempts seem pathetic. Haley believes that he is not worthy of talking to her and that she will save the beaten Fatima. She believes that turning into a zombie is Eugene's doing. Haley tells Eugene to get lost. Haley thinks they are all assholes for accusing her of being a villain. Haley decides to take a stand against the church. Eugene is shocked. He didn't expect Haley to change so much. Haley believes that the land belongs to her. Haley rescues Fatima and orders the order to get off her lands, taking Fatima with her. Fatima cries all the time that it's all her fault. Fatima looks at Haley with hope and believes that this is all a conspiracy. 3 days later, a new inhabitant appears at Castle Marin. Fatima believes that she should stay in the castle and thank Haley for saving her. Haley is puzzled as to why Fatima chose to live here. Fatima believes that Eugene will not give in and will arrest Haley. Fatima fears that because of her betrayal of the church and her protection of Haley, she will be executed. Haley tries in every way to dissuade Fatima from living in the castle, but she does not listen to her. Haley warns Fatima that she will become an outcast, but Fatima still wants to become a resident of the castle. Fatima is afraid to start a new life in the castle, but Haley decides not to dissuade Fatima from this decision. Fatima believes that Haley is a good person who saved her life. Plus, Haley's cool because she laid claim to that land. From the outside, Haley looked like a ruler driving away the invaders. Haley becomes lord of the lands. We are shown the wild ducks that Haley brought. Fatima is proud that the ducks even laid eggs in the new place. Fatima cried for the first few days, but then she decided to settle in. Fatima becomes the one who cooks delicious food for her. Cipollino asks Haley not to kick Fatima out of the house with such delicious cooking. Haley thinks the food will be delicious. Reichardt suddenly asks Haley if she can clear the rest of the lands of the infected. Reichardt begins to tell her about Marin Castle. There are different theories about the castle's first owner, who was rumored to be a warlock. This land did not belong to the kingdom, or even to the Marquise of Maron. Earth is taken over by Haley, as she is the only one living in the affected area. Haley is amazed at how much territory she has recaptured from the Order. Haley feels like Reichardt wants to get closer to her, and that's why he tells her all sorts of things. Haley keeps asking him what it means that he decided to be closer to her. There will be big problems from the fact that she decided to appropriate the lands for herself, because if the three kingdoms find out about it, Reichardt believes that it will not be so easy to get to her lands. Haley recalls the history of the kingdom we found ourselves in. These three kingdoms plotted against each other. Reichardt tells her that it is necessary not to interfere in the war of the three kingdoms, as they may sense danger. But no one can lay claim to the county. Reichardt believes that Haley has started a war with the church, and a serious one at that. Haley doesn't support Reichardt's wariness. Haley believes Reichardt is right. Haley is happy that she is now a Marchioness. Haley calls Cipollino her peasant, and Reichardt Haley calls him his soldier. Fatima calls herself a cook, and voluntarily goes into slavery to Haley. Haley recalls her achievements. It all started with the bitter cold. Now Haley has a garden and happiness. Haley and the others begin to argue about how they are playing mother and daughter while developing the land. Reichardt declares himself head of the house. He tells her about the ritual of declaring himself the head of the family, and Haley is delighted. Everyone decides to listen to Haley's plans for the future. Haley condemns Reichardt, telling him that he is too materialistic. Haley declares herself the one and only Marchioness of Maron. Fatima establishes contact with animals on the farm. Haley doesn't understand why Fatima is so upset about the geese. Cipollino also shares her gardening with Haley. Cipollino asks them to repay him with strawberries for his work. The heroine thinks that he is just like a mother-in-law from the Middle Ages. Haley is doing very well because she is eating a piece of bread, and the weather is wonderful. Haley decides to do something interesting. Fatima and Reichardt decide to go for provisions again. Now the showdown between the continents of Holt and Neve has begun, and it is difficult to obtain provisions. Fatima believes that fewer people should know who Haley is. After the collision, the guards strengthened the protection of the continents. Moreover, an evil magician appeared in the kingdoms. Eugene, however, was full of ideas to resurrect Haley as an evil witch, and now the consequences of his actions roam the earth. Haley believes that someone will be held accountable for these actions. Reichardt asks Fatima to check if there is anyone at the border, but in front of them are zombies dressed in old-fashioned clothes. Haley asks them not to touch these terrible zombies. Haley doesn't know where to get the solution to their problem, but they are discovered at the border. Fatima lies about Haley so the guards won't see her. Because of Fatima's lies, Haley was dumped by her young lover, but Haley is perfect. The guards believe Fatima's lie and let Haley through. The guard looks Haley over critically from head to toe. He wonders who Reichardt is in their crowd then. Haley doesn't know what to say to his question. Reichardt pretends to be her new lover, because of whom Haley ran away from her husband. Fatima lies about a stupid love story so that Haley will be allowed through at the border. Haley listens to all this nonsense and is shocked by the soap opera that is playing out. The guard buys it and sends Haley out the gate. The security guard wishes Haley luck on catching her husband. Haley is pleased with the lie Fatima told, so they found themselves in the city of Grandis, a rather noisy place. Fatima and Reichardt like this city. Unplanned expenses caught Haley's attention. Haley is happy to see a hotel where she will be happy. Haley stretched out blissfully on the bed, ready to rest. Suddenly, Haley hears a huge sound. There they are shouting on the street that a person is injured and they need to call a doctor. The victim asks for help to be sent because he was bitten by a wolf. But the local people are surprised that the man is strange. People are aggressive towards the newcomer. Haley and Fatima don't understand what's going on. Haley is confused about what's going on, and everything else is making her angry. This story began with the fact that the Markgraf's wife, Neva, liked snow animals. But one day, she cheated on her husband, and he ordered to catch more animals. When the hunters were promised more, they became poachers. When the popularity of animals decreased, Neva was sent to investigate. Haley is surprised that McGrath would rather kill animals than be slapped by his wife. Fatima is curious to know how Haley knows all this. The man asks them to send help as soon as possible to kill the animals. Fatima is surprised that no one wants to help him. But then he appears, another dream man. The churchman promises to help sort out this problem. The churchman promises to take them to a shelter and help with the animals. He says he will definitely help with the animals. Fatima generally believes that this priest is a good man, but Haley claims that this man is a killer. These poachers will be killed today by a priest, a maniac. His name is Rango, who was raised by a she-wolf and became an assassin. The memories of running with the she-wolf became the best in his life. These were the best memories of all. But the leader of the pack was killed by people, and the happy life ended. The boy, who found himself in a world of strangers, realized that his world was completely different. 10 years later, Rango decided to take revenge for the massacre of the wolves. But Haley believes that she has nothing to do with Rango. According to the novel, Rango must be freed from his hatred and saved by the main character. The next day, Rango is happy to have a new visitor. Haley is shocked. She didn't expect to see Rango here. Fatima told Rango everything, and now he and Reichardt are discussing plans for the wolves. Rango asks if they are looking for infected people in the area. Haley is surprised how Reichardt can make such decisions. On this short path, the heroine encountered a bunch of zombies. What if the zombies get in their way and turn out to be those lumberjacks? Now, Haley follows a list of names of those she must cleanse. Reichardt decides what to do with the wolves and the poachers. Rango listens carefully to them about their opinions about wolves. Rango asks her if Reichardt is really her subordinate. In the end, they go hunting. But without Fatima, who is like a vitamin for Haley. Reichardt asks Haley how her legs are. They've come too far. Haley looks very tired. Rango tells her that he didn't expect that she was already whining about her legs after only walking a few kilometers. They admire nature and discuss the list of zombie people. Haley notes that Rango described everything very well. Haley believes that when the opportunity arises, she will get rid of Rango. She believes that by enlisting Rango's help, she will then get rid of him. Rango thinks that the poachers need to be scared. Rango believes that the wolves should be skinned and sent to the poachers' parents. Haley tries to stop Rango, but he doesn't listen to her. Rango asks her to keep quiet with a sweet look. So the whole day passes in search of wolves. They climb a giant rock and make their way through the forest. Haley doesn't understand why she feels so tired after walking a short distance. Rango laughs at her and says he didn't expect her to give in like that. Rango didn't compliment Haley on what he told her. They find themselves in a high and beautiful area. Rango shares his dreams of killing the Makragov for killing the wolves. Haley is uneasy about Rango and the way he frames the murder. In the original, the heroine saves Rango and listens to his story about the beast. She was sent by the murdered King Holt, and she wanted to help deal with the poaching. She manages to obtain court approval to resolve the war against poachers. After this, Rango becomes a priest. Haley wonders how she ever agreed to help Rango. Haley asks Reichardt to catch only the poachers. Reichardt promises that nothing is impossible for him. Reichardt asks that you make sure Haley is comfortable. Haley is horrified that she's left with a guy like Rango. Haley is asked why she volunteered to help and catch poachers. Haley feels like Rango is hiding something from her. Rango is overwhelmed by the thought that he might be killed. Rango mistakes her for an aristocrat who was sent from above to help him with the poachers. Haley is surprised. Does she look like an aristocrat? Suddenly, Rango swings his sword and knocks Haley's hat off. Rango asks the heroine what she wants from him. But Haley tells him that she knows everything. Rango becomes uneasy about his identity being revealed. Rango tells her that since she knows so much about him, eliminating him will be no problem. Rango decides to fight Haley and kill her. But Haley fights him skillfully and wins. Rango is horrified that he is now a victim. Haley believes she did the right thing by Rango. In the end, Reichardt dealt with the poachers. Rango threatens poachers because they are exterminating animals. He believes that they have no humanity by killing the cub's mother. Haley is very upset to see the dead wolf. She believes that the wolf cub called for help from its father or mother, and the wolves pursued the poachers. Rango intimidates the people by telling them how they dealt with the wolf. Rango tries to interrogate them about the wolves' plans. The poachers ask him who he is. Rango immediately decides to deal with them because of the wolf. But Reichardt stops him, and they argue about the fate of the poachers. Rango tells him that he has been hunting poachers for years. Rango scares poachers with his creepy attitude. But Haley has more interesting plans for the poachers. The poachers ask her what they should do. Haley casts magic and offers to eat her. The poacher tries to stop them, saying that his children will remember him for this. Poachers are horrified by what they want to do to them. The poachers are saying everything to be released. Ultimately, they achieve release. Haley tells the poachers that she will deal with them, and the king will deal with them. As a result, the poachers are scared, and their crimes are stopped. Another poacher is amazed at how Haley dealt with his partner. Haley reminds them that she can deal with them with magic. The poachers are completely scared of our Haley. Haley pays poachers who are willing to do anything to get them to talk about how brave she is. Poachers are uneasy about Haley. Haley is asked who she is and why she is doing all this. Haley says she is the Marchioness of Marin, so the bandits are forced to fulfill her demands. Otherwise, Rango will kill them. Haley is pleased. Everything went like clockwork. Rango is amazed at how easily she managed to negotiate with them. Haley decides to stay at the border to make sure the poachers are punished. Rango is terrified of Haley and hides behind Reichardt. Rango is very afraid of Haley. It turns out that Haley has drugged the Baraknirs. Haley believes the poachers will soon lose their minds. According to Haley's plan, McGrath will have to repent before the court. We have delicious food on the table. Delicious chicken and scrambled eggs. Haley understands that if she loses, her lands could fall. Haley didn't want to play the good girl all the way. Fatima reports that Makarguf offers to cooperate with Haley and address the poaching problem. Fatima says that Lord Grandis sent everyone. In short, Lord Grandis wants him to repent of poaching and confess to it. Fatima and Haley celebrate their victory. Haley asks Rango to get a list of those who need to be cleared. Otherwise, she will do the same as with the poachers. Rango is completely uneasy around Haley. The list soon lay on her desk. Rango is very afraid of her. Rango and Haley argue about how the list could cause problems for the church. Haley decides to check the list to see if it's a fake. Haley says she was happy to collaborate with Rango. Rango is afraid that Haley will kill him to keep him quiet. Haley tells Rango to get lost. Haley believes that Rango can't climb walls and is breaking the rules of fantasy. Now, thanks to the deal, Haley and Reichardt have food. For 3 days in the Marin Castle, the whole kitchen is bustling with work. Cipollino is glad that he is alive and will not be eaten. It's really weird to look at Haley wearing a really beautiful dress. Haley is surprised to be called a clown. Haley is offended that many people consider her a cute demon. Fatima asks him to be more polite, because Haley is trying to look beautiful. Haley is upset with Cipollino and doesn't want to help him. Haley doesn't want to work. She's a marquise now. There is a list on the table. Haley has a lot of things to do. Haley thinks she can bring many of the infected back to life, but she'll have to work. The slightest mistake can lead to fatal consequences. Haley feels a huge responsibility. Haley decides to use her hair in witchcraft. Haley decides to use magic for good purposes. At first, Haley failed, but then Haley was determined to do what she had planned. She managed to create a thin line around the blood vessel. Haley decided to use her hair as threads to control her limbs. So every day she goes out to cleanse the magic. Cipollino doesn't understand how she managed to do this and why she's running away. Haley decides to go to Selban. We are shown the house after Haley leaves for the Grandis estate. The priest is told that Eugene is quite a personality. Oren's servant is disappointed with Eugene's actions. Eugene, in order to save his reputation, asks for an investigation into the case. Eugene demands that the hunt be stopped and that those who started the investigation be declared wanted. It is decided to launch an investigation into poaching. The priest decides to tell about Haley. It tells the story of poachers who became zombies. Currently, poachers are under protection, who have not been contacted. Eugene decides to meet him. Eugene is determined to suppress the Marquise's rebellion. Eugene decides to find out where Haley is. But no matter how long Eugene waits, he has to miss out on seeing Haley. He remembers Haley's face and her icy gaze in his nightmares. Eugene curses the day he joined the order. He is jealous of Reichardt towards Haley and does not understand why she was clinging to him. Eugene doesn't understand why Reichardt hates Haley so much and now defends her. A servant of the order tells him about the message from Holt. According to the report of the order's servant, the infection is spreading to other countries on the continent. Eugene is horrified by what he heard. Eugene believes that Haley is casting a spell and sending a curse. Eugene decides to deal with everything himself. At the same time, Rango is worried about Haley. Rango listens to what machinations Haley is up to. Rango remembers how, thanks to Haley, he dealt with the bandits. He's not very happy. He thinks Haley is a monster. Rango caught Haley's eye as a client. He knows that the knights have raised the alarm. Rango decides to go to Holt and enjoy the food there. Rango remembers that he must visit someone in the highlands. Meanwhile, Haley and Reichardt head to the village of Selbon, which Eugene needs. Haley and Reichardt decide to continue searching Selbon for 9 days, looking for infected and remaining poachers. So they stumble upon creepy zombies. Haley and Reichardt move to a new location. They come across a creepy zombie, a former lumberjack. Haley decides to stop the zombies. Haley says she's been late enough. Haley decides that she will deal with the zombies. She believes that the zombies abandoned her. Haley recalls being warned by loggers. Haley believes that she will help them get clean. Her magic helps cleanse the forest and the zombies. Haley knows that it is very difficult for her to return the zombies to normal. Zombies become people, and they are now ordinary people. The lumberjacks are now happy. They are no longer zombies. They are happy that Haley helped them. The loggers are very grateful to Haley. They will now return to normal life. Haley is also happy. She managed to cope with magic. Haley is now a savior for the lumberjacks. Haley is offered a huge sum of money, but she doesn't need it. She's already rich. Haley feels she and the loggers are on different paths. The loggers are very grateful to Haley and don't know how to thank her. Haley decided to stay out of sight of the people of Selban. But then Haley ran into an unexpected problem. Haley learns that all the houses are empty. Reichardt checks all the houses and says they are all empty. Reichardt and Haley think it's all the work of the church. Reichardt believes the atmosphere in the village is ominous. Haley decides to move away and consults with the lumberjacks. And that's when they reach the end of the village. Haley is shouted at to run. Reichardt rushes towards her at full speed and shouts that it's time to go to the contaminated zone. Haley doesn't understand what's going on and why Reichardt has blood on his face. The Knights Templar fought the zombies with their swords drawn. After all, we need to hide the fact that zombies have become monsters. It seems that the monster, having turned into a Templar, killed quite a few knights. Reichardt cut off the monster's head, and many villagers saw it. Reichardt runs at full speed to stop the monsters. But the monster runs after them and catches up with them. Reichardt is surprised. He told Haley that he killed the monster. Reichardt warns Haley to be careful and charges in. The monster is like the headless horseman. He just puts his head on and goes to attack. Reichardt believes a different approach is needed to defeat him. Reichardt fights the knight, stunning him. The knight is overcome. The sword swings over his head. Reichardt asks Haley to run away somewhere far away. Reichardt watches the knight and his movements. But the knight is invincible, even without his head. Reichardt runs into him again. The knight finally falls onto the bridge. A strange cloud of energy emanates from the knight. Reichardt asks Haley if he succeeded in killing her. The knight's heart was filled with magical energy. Haley drains all the magical energy from him. But the knights became Templars and used dark magic as divine power. Haley realizes she has to do something. Life in Selban changed after this incident. Reichardt asks them to change their lives. Haley decides to attack the monsters again. They show us an old church. Here, the trial of the heretics who committed the massacre takes place. They are allowed to come out into the light of day, and it's all over. Haley learns that 2 paladins are dead, and the rest are alive. Reichardt asks what will happen now. Haley explains what her plan is. Suddenly, something comes to Haley's mind. Haley doesn't think they'll meet anytime soon. Rango appears here, just like that, sensing the intrigue. Rango believes that he is unfairly accused of everything. Rango asks Haley if it's really because he gave them the wrong people. Haley is willing to pay Rango if he helps. Rango tells everything he thought about Eugene. Haley is shocked that Eugene was only seen 2 months ago. Haley asks him to convey what happened in Grandis to everyone in order to strengthen his influence. She asks him to find Eugene. Eugene is also waiting for his moment to give Haley a rebuff. Months pass, and there is no word from Eugene. Eugene has to stay for a few days. 2 years ago, in the winter, Haley asked to stay at the church. Eugene asks Haley where her lover is, but she doesn't ask permission and goes into the temple. Eugene asks Haley to admit her guilt in court. He lists all of Haley's crimes and asks her to admit her guilt in court. After all, she didn't poison King Holt. It was her mother. Haley orders him to shut up. Haley and Eugene argue about their future. Haley does not want to confess in court. Haley says she has sacrificed a lot for ungrateful people, and she will not admit anything. Haley doesn't want to be thrown out on the street. Eugene asks Haley to admit her guilt and not take too much responsibility on herself. Haley appears strong, but she is actually weak. Eugene asks her to do it for them, but Haley doesn't want to listen. She doesn't think about Eugene's feelings. Haley says she'd be better off dead. Haley demands that Eugene hide her for a few days. Eugene realizes that Haley doesn't feel anything for him. Eugene can't stand it. He decides to break up with Haley. Haley reproaches him for not being able to do this to her because he is her family. Haley receives a response that she is no longer Eugene's family. Eugene decides to confess his feelings to Haley. Eugene cries as he says he forgave all of Haley's betrayals. He mentions that he can't forgive Haley now. She has become a villain and has gone too far. Haley asks him to think. He is the only one who can understand her. She remembers how close they were as children. Eugene throws her out and demands that she go to her man. The girl thinks that Haley was too stupid to keep Eugene, and his affection is foolish. Eugene had no hope. Haley considered him her puppy. Haley believes that she will correct all the villain's sins. Haley believes that the puppy has grown up and become a real man. Haley watches them, the Templars, silently. She shouts to Eugene that he has forgotten about the deal, to talk to her alone without witnesses. Eugene is surprised that Rango is serving him, according to Haley. Rango tries to explain everything to her. He was taken hostage by Eugene. Rango falls to the ground and demands to be handled with care. Haley reminds him that he is a Templar and only knows how to read the Bible. Unexpectedly, Haley is shocked by Eugene's actions. Eugene hugs her and says he missed Haley. Haley tells him to leave her alone. Haley tells him that she is not the Haley he knew. Reichardt grabs Eugene by the lapels and tears him away from Haley. Rango also anticipates a fight between Reichardt and Eugene Haley and bets on Reichardt. Reichardt warns Eugene not to touch Haley. Haley decides to put some distance between them. Eugene asks Haley to give him a chance to apologize. Eugene admits that he has been looking for her for a very long time. Eugene seriously asks her what will happen if he leaves the church and returns to her. Haley tells him that she didn't call him to talk to him. Haley orders Eugene to be quiet. She says they really need to do something. Haley tells Eugene what she wanted to say in Selban. She tells him about what happened in the church. But Eugene doesn't seem to have anything to do with the dead. The church is generally ready to cover up the incident in Selban. Haley tells him about her rights to the land, and that she is the Marchioness of Maron. Haley orders him to tell her that she created the demon to control the darkness. Haley tells him not to let the church interfere anymore. Eugene is forced to agree with her. Haley asks Eugene about his future plans. Eugene is once again trying to do everything to make Haley love him. But Haley doesn't want to give in to the church. Eugene shouts that he alone persuaded the church to spare Haley. He believed that Haley would not survive in the contaminated lands. Haley thinks that the one whose body she is stuck in is a complete fool because of Eugene. She asks Eugene if he protected her enough. Haley says she only has magic and no family or friends. Magic was Haley's shield and everything. Haley says that she needs magic, and if Eugene is not happy with it, then he can get lost. Haley doesn't believe a single word Eugene says when he tries to persuade her to join the church. She asks Eugene if he remembers how he became a cardinal. She claims that Eugene only wears the face of a good shepherd. But in fact, he became like that because of Haley through the murders she committed. Eugene can't believe what his beloved is saying. She tells Eugene to admit that his love was not appreciated and that he is a hypocrite. She wanted to tell him the truth that Haley had died in Marin Castle. She chose death in the contaminated lands by summoning a heroine from our world. Eugene never understood her pain and loneliness. Eugene apologizes to Haley for everything he did. Eugene is like Sakura Haruno, who persuades Sasuke to stay in Konoha. He is so pathetic, begging Haley to come back to him. Reichardt realizes he has gone too far in his attempts to get Haley back. Haley reproaches Eugene for being a grown man, but whining like a child without her. Haley calls on Eugene to grow up in front of Reichardt. Eugene begs Haley not to be so angry. Eugene again asks her to come back to him, and he will change. Haley feels like the novel is mocking her. All the men here are handsome, perfect. Even Rango was already tired of what had happened here. Haley asks Eugene not to cling to her, and says that one day he will meet the love of the century. She says that he will become the third husband of one woman. Haley tells him that he will be tormented by jealousy, but that's life. Haley decides to stay in Selban and has no intention of leaving. Eugene says the investigation will be difficult without the heretic's body, but he asks Haley to cooperate with the church. The woodcutters who were healed by Haley are not allowed to stay in the village because of the nasty rumors about them. Haley calmly tells him that she doesn't care. Eugene is amazed by the splendor of the Maron Castle. Haley answers his question that she is happy to live in it. Castle Maron is a place where food supplies are scarce, but where those in need can hide from the world. No one wants to be here except a couple of criminals and a spirit with a man, bearing accusations against the church. But soon people began to flock here, hearing about the Marquise. Fatima is very grateful that people are helping around the castle. Haley is amazed at how well Fatima handles everything. Haley doesn't understand why her family has grown. 3 days ago, Haley couldn't get into the village because the church's documents were stolen and they weren't letting anyone in. Rango asks what exactly was stolen there and whether it was Cipollino's doing. Illegal resettlement to Gardes is out of the question. Haley realizes she can't go back to Selban. Haley learns that if anything comes out about the lumberjacks, she'll be in trouble. Haley doesn't know what to do. The woodcutters hide in the cart and ask where they should go. Haley suggests that they go home. So the woodcutters' family settled in Haley Castle. Haley thinks that they don't have enough space in the castle anyway, and now they have extra mouths to feed. Reichardt tells Haley that they are simply repaying her with kindness. Fatima asks the woodcutter's wife how her husband is. The woodcutter's wife is very energetic and wants to start cleaning the house to thank Haley. Fatima doesn't think about stopping her and decides to help with the housework. Haley believes that this is too much and that her villain status has been undermined. She is infuriated that even Reichardt is not on her side. Meanwhile, one spirit cleverly manipulates people, pushing his work onto them. Genzina says it's simply incredible how he grew strawberries on such land. He tells the woman how hard it was and what he used to grow strawberries. She invites the spirit of the earth to plant seeds together. Thus, the hands of the new inhabitants reached other parts of the castle. Haley doesn't understand how anyone can live in a cursed castle with children. Haley cannot guarantee any future for the castle. Haley learns that they even fixed her window, which was shaking in the wind. Haley learns that the woodcutters have no intention of leaving the castle. They decide to stay here with their mistress. Haley is surprised by their decision to stay here. Haley decides that she can live here. Haley no longer hears any creepy sounds in the castle. Haley praises the lumberjacks for their work. The woodcutter and his wife are happy to help Haley along with the other woodcutter families. Haley is asked to come downstairs to receive a new project to improve life in the castle. Reichardt proposes to build a bridge across the river. Rango grumbles at Haley, asking how he could get involved with such a creepy woman. The innocent loggers don't know what Haley is really like. Rango thinks that Haley is a real villain and that everyone is wrong about her. Haley told Rango that he couldn't go with her. Rango tells her that he had no intention of going with her, but Haley is willing to pay him if he helps her. She asked Rango to find out everything about the infected knight. Rango is amazed by her, but decides to fulfill her request. They are discussing the main character of the novel. The Marquise asked to avoid the main character of the novel. Rango is unaware that Haley has switched places with the novel's protagonist and is now doing all the work for her. Rango decides to take advantage of this Asta, the main character of the novel. We are told that the king of the kingdom lost his daughter at birth. She went to see the festival, and her father found her 12 years later in an orphanage. She thinks about how Cyril could block the city. Before us is Asta Rose Casnathora, the princess of Casnathora, who has been of no use to this manhwa for 100 years, and who will be revealed, ignoring Haley, in a bunch of chapters. We are shown Cyril Bandinson, Haley's lover, who is investigating the missing documents. Grandis is blocked because documents of top-secret importance have been lost in it. Overhunting of snow animals has been proven here. To solve the problem and its consequences, Asta arrived in Grandis secretly. Asta is wondering when the blockade of the city will be lifted, and she will return home. Cyril promises that it will be very soon. Cyril is summoned by the head of the house. This is important. Cyril is upset, but is forced to go. Asta promises Cyril his help. Cyril has no choice but to answer the call. Cyril thinks that his summons to the head of the house is a waste of time. Asta is surprised by the changes in Cyril. Asta thinks that Cyril has a lot of worries about his origins. The stigma of being an orphan haunts Cyril and his origins. Asta is lucky. She has friends who will always help her. There is a warm and vibrant atmosphere in Cyril's house. Asta is offered to go into town and have a bite to eat. Asta suddenly hears someone's rough voices. Some men are discussing Cyril and his origins and the betrayal of his beloved. The men think Haley got what she deserved. Asta is told the most terrible rumors about Haley. Asta became curious if Haley was dead. Asta is told that Haley lives in a contaminated land and that she cannot escape from there, that she is the daughter of the devil. Rango passes by and likes these rumors about Haley. Meanwhile, Marin became habitable thanks to Haley's power of purification. Haley and Reichardt discuss the bridge over the lake and whether there will be problems with the order. Haley agrees that a bridge needs to be built and the peasants need to be evicted, as they don't have such provisions. It is no longer possible to get to Selban and Maron. All the roads are blocked, and provisions must be obtained in another city. The heroes have to travel to Casnatura to get resources for the bridge. Haley asks to raise the bridge first. This is how the decision to create a demon cult was born. Cipollino was most pleased with the construction of the bridge. Haley reminds him that he, the spirit, is a recluse, and that he should go easy on her. Cipollino believes that, thanks to the bridge, he will die full. Haley asks him if he's ever tried a Bref Burrington. We are told that Broof Burrington is a delicious meat and tomato soup. Haley, in order to support Cipollino, will ask Fatima to make soup. Haley is forced to go shopping for new things at the request of the lumberjacks and Fatima. Haley manages to reach Grandis. Haley and Reichardt's passports have been verified. Their names are now Zeus and Hera. Haley is absolutely thrilled to go shopping. Haley and Reichardt took the names of Greek gods. But during the ID forgery, Haley was named Zeus because Reichardt was being cunning. Reichardt and Haley discuss the purchases they have been asked to make. It was then that the summer wind blew and made Haley turn around. A large bird appeared in the sky, breaking its connection with the sky. Haley didn't see the ghost of the Venus bird. Besides, Haley sees a bird in the main character, Asta. I can't wait for a fight to break out between Haley and Asta. In reality, Asta is even more beautiful than she is described in the novel, with her pink hair and pink eyes. Haley is shocked to see the novel's main character. Haley is afraid that the main character will see her. Haley asks Reichardt to support her. The bird flies closer to them. It is about to eat them. Haley is told that she will die at the hands of Ventus. Haley orders Reichardt to stun Asta to stop the bird. Haley says Asta is a contractor for the creepy bird. Reichardt knocks out Asta with a brutal blow to the back. The bird begins to disappear in a puff of smoke. Haley doesn't understand why Reichardt wants to drag Asta away with him. Reichardt and Haley attracted the attention of the townspeople. So Haley kidnapped the main character. Reichardt asks where to put her body. Reichardt says she attacked Haley, but she claims otherwise. Reichardt is confused that they attacked a defenseless girl. While the body lies, Reichardt wonders why the bird attacked Haley. Haley believes that spirits are unpredictable creatures, and they attacked for a reason. Haley tells him to be careful with her because she is a princess. Haley asks Reichardt not to start a war and to return the princess. Haley guesses that their actions will lead to war. Haley Asa is more liked than she should be. Haley would like to move into Asta. Reichardt asks Haley not to act like a pervert. Asta is warned not to use the spirit for protection. Asta wonders who her kidnappers are. Reichardt and the Marquise Maron. Asta had never heard of the Maron family. Haley decides to explain to her why she kidnapped her. According to the original story, Asta was glorified by 3 kingdoms. It was this princess who stopped the hunt for snow animals. It is this princess who has the strongest spirit that serves her. Haley warns her about an attack by a creepy demon. Haley says she doesn't belong here and asks her to save the world. Haley tells her that she kidnapped Asta to tell her about the demon. Asta is terrified. She doesn't know how to fight the demon. Asta thinks that Haley is too soft for a kidnapper. Asta hears that he and Haley are not alone. Asta asks Haley if she is alone. A certain priest tells her to leave here. This is the gravedigger who mistook Asta for Tim Burton's corpse bride. The gravedigger asks who opened the coffin lid. Asta tells the gravedigger the truth, and he is horrified. Asta asks to be taken outside. The gravedigger promises that he will see Asta off. He takes care of the cemetery with incredible care. Asta is interested in how he became a gravedigger. The gravedigger reveals that he was excommunicated from the church for investigating corruption within the church. Asta is horrified by the government's actions. Sta hears how the peasants are unhappy that the blockade has not been lifted. Asta tells the gravedigger who she is. The gravedigger is surprised. He didn't even know who the princess was. Asta promises that if he helps her, he will be reinstated in his rank. Past them are gloomy graves, but Asta is not afraid of anything. Asta suggests that he run away from here too, so Asta and the gravedigger made a pact. Rango became part of the protagonist's group. In the end, Haley never got what she needed. Reichardt says that everything is closed, and they won't be able to buy provisions. Reichardt asks her why she said such a thing to the princess. Haley said she told him in the heat of the moment. But for some reason, Reichardt stops. Before them, Cyril meets Haley. Haley and Reichardt didn't expect to meet Cyril here. Haley realizes that in front of her is the lover of the woman in whose body she is. Reichardt draws his sword and is ready to fight. Reichardt and Cyril cross their swords in combat. Haley thinks she's about to be smitten by Cyril. Cyril and Reichardt are about to tear each other to shreds. Other people join the fight. Haley wants to help Reichardt with her magic. Reichardt insults Cyril. Cyril is ready to fight Reichardt and will not forgive him. Reichardt says that Cyril is even ready to use a woman to achieve his goals. Cyril is rude to Reichardt, accusing him of destroying the Winter family. Reichardt says that Cyril is like a dog chasing a chicken, and Haley is outraged by this comparison. Cyril says he doesn't need Haley. Reichardt asks him how he was tempted by the witch. Reichardt tells Cyril that he is a trash type, and Princess Asta will find out about it. Cyril rushes into the attack, Reichardt's words having touched him. Haley is scared of where their fight is going. Swords cross and both men do not retreat. Cyril wonders why Reichardt is hanging around Haley. Haley wants Reichardt to win, but a lot of people have gathered, and they need to leave. One of the passers-by recognizes these faces. Many people blame Haley for the riots. Haley asks Reichardt to finish, and they will go from here. Reichardt asks Haley to run. He wants to sacrifice his life. But Haley doesn't want to leave Reichardt, and he is shocked. Haley and Reichardt argue about how to escape. Reichardt encourages Haley. He picks up Haley and they run away. The guards come running to the butcher's cries and chase after our heroes. Cyril is perplexed as to why Reichardt left so quickly. Reichardt's home fell and he vowed revenge. Reichardt decided that he would find Haley and take his revenge. Cyril never recognized the disguised Haley. After the night, our heroes secretly passed Grandis. Reichardt says that the city is closed to them and they will not be able to get home. Haley asks him why he started the fight in the first place. Reichardt tells her that he wouldn't have stopped Cyril anyway. Reichardt is surprised that Haley doesn't like Cyril. Haley realizes she has strayed too far from the novel. Haley says the man she loved was Cyril. Our heroine pretends that she loved him. She doesn't understand why Cyril fell in love with Haley, but Eugene looks more like a lover. Haley thinks that with his bastard injuries and sarcastic nature, our heroine fell in love with him. Our heroine thinks that all this is because of her pretty face. They show us the village where they ended up. Reichardt is surprised that Haley left Cyril. Haley says her ideal is a Millennium Bell. Reichardt says it's clear they have a common ground. Haley tells him not to even dream about her. Then, our heroes decide to make a bridge to escape. Haley says she can't make the bridge. She's too pampered by work. Having loaded up what they had obtained, our heroes returned home. Haley and Cipollino enjoy meat stew. Fatima brings another portion of food and places it in front of our heroes. She made a damn demonic stew out of beef butter and tomatoes. Also, at the end of summer, a huge wooden bridge appeared on the river. The Demon Bridge is the only bridge connecting Moran with Casnatura. Cipollino thinks the bridge's name is too erotic. Haley says it's a tribute to the previous Marquise and his occult interests. Most people are happy with the opening of the bridge. Cipollino is surprised by how many people are happy with the bridge's opening. He asks Haley to look into the distance. Reichardt swings his sword and chops down trees. Haley is scared about what happened to our Reichardt. Reichardt says she thought he was a good person. He says he became stronger thanks to Haley. Haley is surprised that people become stronger when infected with the filth. Reichardt says he even talked to the loggers. Haley grabs Reichardt's face and doesn't let go. It's really romantic. Haley is afraid that Reichardt will become half-demon and kill the main villain. Haley examines Reichardt and is glad he didn't become a demon. Haley looks at Reichardt in shock. Reichardt asks Haley why she's groping him like a pervert. He and Reichardt begin to argue about what is going on. The lumberjack tells her that he finds it easier to cut down trees after the infection. Haley worries that the infected have become some kind of superhumans. She discovers that infection strengthens the body. Haley remembered that incident with the knight. His blood was strange, twisted into a spiral. Everything in the knight's heart was changed. The core that made him a monster. Haley is thinking about how to create a demon for herself. She decides to create a sphere of filth and repeat the compression and rotation. Haley decides to create something perfect, but Haley's magic gets out of control and destroys everything. Haley realizes that she can no longer control magic. The magic dissipates and turns into purple mist. Haley manages to create a taint that spreads throughout her domain. Haley also created a mini corruption core. The action moves to Enif, a trading city of landowners. Asta believes that he will meet a demon in the swamp. She barely found a place called a swamp. Together with the maid, Asta discusses the beauty of the fields. The maid believes that Asta has become closer to Cyril and that their love is carrots. Rango listens to all this chatter and decides to use it for his own purposes. Haley says she doesn't believe there's a demon here. She asks Rango if he knows the name Moran. He tells her a creepy story about a deranged occultist and a cursed castle. Rango decides to fulfill Haley's request and find out how the church created the monster. For a fee, Rango will help you find out everything about the demon. Haley remembers that Eugene told her about Cyril, for whom she became a monster. Haley wants to use the princess because she knew Cyril. Rango and Asta are here at the behest of the Marquise. Ango feels that he will succeed. In the growing light, he decides to approach Haley. We are shown Haley's attempts to create a monster core. In the end, Haley manages to create a sphere. Cipollino is interested in Haley's progress. Then they argue about what Cipollino has become from working in the fields, and he wonders why he was called to listen to nonsense about the sphere. Haley tells him that he will be able to see his fellow tribesmen. Cipollino and Haley were looking for the Dryad's relatives, a boy. But the heroes barely survived in the forest and found nothing. Cipollino believes that his fellow tribesmen are dead, and he is alone here. Haley is curious to know why he was in the whirlpool when they met. Haley wonders how demons came to be in the Eldritch lands. Cipollino fears that Haley is a demon incarnate. Cipollino asks Haley to find her relatives. Haley decides to give Cipollino an answer. Haley thinks he's a dryad who almost became a demon. And Haley found him and stopped Cipollino's transformation. Cipollino says he believed that life would be normal in the cursed castle. Cipollino is shocked by the news that he is both a demon and a dryad. Haley shows him the sphere she created. Haley wants to use the sphere to make Cipollino a full-fledged half-demon, half-dryad. But Cipollino deftly throws the sphere into the bush. Haley is horrified. Her beloved Rosemary has been destroyed. From there, a vile demon appears, smiling at her. The core disappeared, dissolving into the pot. At this time, the villagers are outraged that they have not received money for their work. The peasants are taking action, but it will be tomorrow. Farmers blame the cursed zone for everything. The peasant's wife is forced to work from morning until night, collecting herbs. A huge black mass in purple light approaches her. Now the heroine faces death at the clutches of the demon. The next morning, a scream is heard near Enif Castle. The woodcutter asks to stop the demon and save his wife. He suggests calling the priests to save his wife. Soon all the peasants knew what had happened. Many of them sympathized with their neighbor, but they could not help. Asta comes to his aid, promising to save his wife. The woodcutter wonders who stands before him. Asta swears to him that he will tell the cardinal everything, and he will help him deal with the demon. The woodcutter is very grateful to Asta for her care. We are shown a tall castle with green roofs, resembling a cathedral. Cardinal Mephius is surprised by the princess's decision to call an army against the demon. Asta prays to His Holiness to help her deal with the demon. According to His Eminence, the order suffered serious losses. Atsu is called upon to simply observe the demon. Asta says that she can't sit idly by. The priest explains to her that fighting the demon alone is dangerous. Asta calls herself a princess and declares that she cannot watch the people suffer. The priest says that if this is an order, he can't do anything. Dark clouds gather over Maron. The guards are calling on people to leave the village. But then the guard freezes. He sees something terrible. The woodcutter's wife became a zombie with eerily glowing eyes. Panic breaks out in Enif Castle. McGrath is terribly curious about where his men, who were sent on reconnaissance, went. They say the demon killed all of McGrath's men. McGrath says he should have intervened earlier. All the people bless Asta to fight the monster. Citizens ask Asta to deal with the monster. Asta promises that she will sort everything out. At her command, the spirit bird calms the worried residents. The peasants rejoice. They are happy to see the princess. At the same time, Reichardt and Haley leave. They decide to stop the demons. They argue again about how they can stop the demons. They decided that first they would eat, and then they would save the world. The lumberjack tells them to make sure the bridge is strong. Haley is unhappy that when she comes to shop, everything is blocked. Then, Haley witnesses the people welcoming Asta. Reichardt decides that he'd better go alone. He asks Haley why she doesn't trust him. Haley doesn't know how to explain everything to him. Suddenly, she hears someone's familiar voice. Rango asks Haley what brings her here. The guy told everything about the deeds of the Order of Haley. Haley is glad that Rango has gotten closer to the princess. After all, they will be able to manipulate the princess and rule. Haley is considering taking part in the demon suppression. Rango asks Haley if she needs a list of the infected. But Haley asks Rango to keep an eye on Asta. Reichardt asks him to follow the princess and get the list, so Rango can get closer to the princess. Rango boasts that getting into the temple will not be a problem for him. Haley is expecting good news from Rango. At this time, the order discusses the princess's actions. The high priesthood wants to kill the princess in front of the people. Suddenly, they hear a strange noise. The high priest is informed that the princess has left them with her retinue. They want to shut up the order. The princess is helping with this. The order decides to prepare for immediate departure. Our heroes are in the cemetery. Haley and Reichardt are ready to face the order. Haley says she will never bow to the order. The cemetery is quite gloomy and dark. Reichardt and Haley walk through the cemetery, and the atmosphere around them is gloomy. Reichardt believes that a certain member of the order appeared who served faithfully and truly. Reichardt leans against the wall. The wall opens and a passage is revealed. Reichardt is forced to walk past the dead to reach the order members. Haley says there was something else. Hay wonders what that sound was. There are creepy zombies in front of them, abandoned, defiled people who are frightening. And among them, Haley recognizes a familiar face. The guard who arrested her is now a zombie. Haley is surprised what he's doing here. Haley tells Reichardt that he is the guy who arrested her. It seems that Castle Maron's vengeance has reached the guards. Haley noticed that they were trying to turn the guards into fakes to distract her. Haley thinks this is all planned. These guards look like a knight who was hunted. Haley says there's no point in killing her like that. She remembers how boring the security guard was. But when the soldier spat, he was the only one who stood up for her. Haley remembers arguing with Reichardt about saving the criminals. Reichardt told her that all zombies want to become human. Haley didn't know what to say. Meanwhile, Asta says goodbye to the bird. Asta orders the bird to focus on finding the demon. Cyril promises to cover the rear. Many knights from Enif joined the search for Asta. Thanks to the spirit of Ventus, the demon was captured. Asta asked for a ritual to exorcise the devil, but the woman died, unable to withstand the ritual. So an accident happened in the kingdom. The woodcutter cries about how he will live without his wife. Asta says that it's all her fault. Asta is crying. She didn't expect everything to turn out like this. But the result is that we have a woman's corpse. So night fell in Gardes. Was it really impossible to save her life? Haley uses cleansing magic to put the soul to rest. Suddenly, Haley hears a strange sermon. Rango says he will comfort Haley for her loss. Haley listens to Rango and what he learned. Haley gloats that Asta has really become the new star. Haley learns that Haley's ex-boyfriend benefited from Asta's fame. Most of the people who despised Cyril turned their backs on him. Haley likes what Asta does. Rango doesn't understand how Haley can like Cyril's new flame. Then the conversation turns to Rango's type of women, and he blushes, justifying himself as best he can. Rango says he's better than the Marquis. Haley immediately wonders if she's Rango's type. Rango gets dramatic when he hears this from Haley. Rango is afraid that Haley wants to get rid of him. They are drying up. They are talking about Asta. Rango gets upset with Haley for teasing him. Meanwhile, people decided to offer prayers so that the demon would not return. But the residents of Casnathura are happy with the people's sermons. Haley is glad that the coming of the demon was stopped. Haley pays Rango generously to spy on Asta. Rango is glad that he got enough money. Rango promises himself that he will keep an eye on Asta. Rango wonders what those inquisitors who were at the beginning of the manhwa are doing here. Rango decides to follow them. Rango couldn't even imagine that the escapees were knights from the temple. Rango wonders what their Asta, their saint, wants. We are shown the royal chancery of the Holtz. A certain young man is called in for questioning. They ask him if it is true that Asta is now a saint. He tells everything to his boss. Asta does a good job of playing the role of a saint. The king was furious when he found out what his daughter was doing. The man is ordered to betray Asta's desire to marry. The proposal is made by McKellen Holt, the apostate king. Meanwhile, the following is happening in Gardes. Asta asks to improve the lives of citizens. Asta is allowed to leave Gardes. Among the knights are those who passed sentence on Hailey. Asta listens attentively to the knights. The knights say that something evil is being planned in Enif. Asta thinks what is happening now. Asta decides to find out more about the demon. She says the knights don't look defiled. Asta believes that the knights are lying to her. The knight looks at her menacingly. They tell Asta that Haley saved them. Asta remembers what she heard about Haley. The townspeople decide to stay away from Haley. The knights talk about Haley Asta. Haley saved them, expecting nothing from the knights who had sentenced her. The knights don't know if Haley is really a witch. The princess sets out on a journey. She trusts Rango in everything, who manipulates the princess. The knights suspected that Rango was manipulating the princess. Rango tells them about the experiments on people. Rango claims that this is the work of the order. Rango tells them about the knight who became a zombie. Rango asks Asta to go to the cardinal. Asta learned the story of Rango's excommunication from the church. Rango cheerfully asks if she is going to the capital. Asta says that she is returning to Enif. Asta believes that she will not come to the meeting of the three kingdoms. Asta is asked to stay and not return to the capital. King Mikkelsen sent a marriage proposal. Asta is surprised by King Holt's actions. Asta can't believe that she has become a saint. Asta doesn't really want to end up in a place contaminated with filth. At this time, Haley sees the following dream. The heroine dreamed of the real Haley. The heroine decides to yell at Haley for giving up. They both want ramen and a TV series to take their minds off things. Our heroine doesn't understand what kind of dream it was. Haley thinks it's because she eats meat every day. Haley believes that she should not eat at night to avoid having strange dreams. In the previous dream, Haley demanded that the traveler give her her body. Our heroine is back to gardening. Haley is puzzled as to where Rykard is, where Cipollino is. Cipollino noticed a certain bird and does not help the heroine because of it. Haley looks to see what kind of bird it is. Haley realizes that this is Asta's bird. Haley orders the giant bird to be shot. A giant bird screams at the top of its lungs and destroys the harmony around. Rykard fears the bird wants to kill Haley, but Asta asks not to kill Haley's bird. Asta orders the bird to stop. Haley is confused about what Asta is doing here. Haley doesn't understand how Asta got to a place where no human has ever set foot. Asta yells at Ventus that they are not here to fight. Haley is scared when the bird starts to do something nasty to her. Haley decides to stop the bird. Cipollino decides to fight the vile bird. Cipollino stands up for Haley and prevents the bird from killing her. Haley thinks Cipollino is incredibly cool. The bird threatens them, but Cipollino obeys. The bird screams at them that it will kill them and not let them go. Haley barely keeps Cipollino from taking revenge on the bird. The bird clearly wants to kill Haley, but Haley defends the pepper pot. Haley is amazed that Cipollino brought the pot to life. Haley thinks a demon core has entered the pot. Asta smooths things over and returns the bird to the spirit world. 3 hours ago, Asta found out where Haley was. Asta was horrified when she learned from Cyril the details about the zombie invasion. Cyril explains that the king has taken measures to restrict Ephor from fighting. Atsa is grateful for help in catching the demon. Cyril is visibly upset that Atsi was proposed to. Asta calms him down, saying that she will think about it. Cyril begs Atsu to think very carefully about the proposal. Cyril hints that he would like Asta to marry him. Asta is shocked by what Cyril said. Cyril says he's unlikely to feel any discomfort because of Asta. Asta asks Cyril how close he was with Haley. Cyril lies to her that he and Haley had a friendly relationship. Cyril believes that Haley has turned into a terrible monster. Atsa doesn't believe what Cyril says. It hurts Asta to see what is happening to Cyril. She wants to believe what is hidden in Cyril's soul. But Atsa understands that she will have to find the truth herself. Now, Haley is scolding Asta for violating airspace. Asta reassures her, saying that it was a spontaneous decision. Haley wonders who Asta's mysterious brother is. Fatima asks who Asta is. Fatima and everyone sitting down are shocked by Princess Asta. Fatima was angry about the ruined garden beds and the fact that the princess was scolded here. The loggers are forced to restore the vegetable garden with discontent. Asta is very ashamed of Ventus's actions. Haley says it's not her fault. Asta says that it was her mistake, and she will do better next time. Asta states that she came to talk to Haley. Haley suggests that she go somewhere quieter. Asta thanks Haley for her warning. Haley says Asta should be proud of herself. Asta believes that Haley deserves gratitude. Asta tells her about how she was proposed to. Asta asks Haley to join the fight against demons. Haley says that only she can defeat the demons, since she is the main character of the novel. Asta is amazed by what she says about her. Atsa thinks that Haley is more like the main character. Haley asks what she wanted to talk about. Asta says she would like to know the truth about Haley. She says that Haley killed the Bendishon family and exterminated the Winters. Asta doesn't believe that Haley is so bloodthirsty and wants to know the truth about her. Haley decides to take the chance. This is Haley's chance to redeem the novel's main villain. The heroine remembers the terrible villain and decides to take advantage of the chance. She looks into Asta's eyes, waiting for the truth. But she decides not to tell the truth and not to take the chance. They settle down at a table with apple juice and soup and crusty bread. Haley is surprised at how Asta prepared all this. Haley realizes that she can't treat the main character badly. Fatima delights them with deliciously prepared drinks. Haley is shocked by how kind Fatima has become. Haley thinks Fatima bought all of this. Asta promises Cipollino that she will fix everything that Ventus did. So now Asta is digging in their garden. Cipollino soon became friends with Asta. Haley isn't worried that Asta has become friends with the inhabitants of Meran. Fatima is surprised that Reichardt caught a wild boar. Fatima believes that her pet now has a friend. Fatima thinks that Haley and Asta get along well. Haley is afraid that her place will soon be taken. Haley was always followed by misfortunes, but not Asta. Haley asks Atsu to leave quickly. Reichardt asks Haley why she isn't working. Haley is afraid that if the king finds out that his daughter was working, he will cut off Haley's head. Cipollino calls Haley a sadist, a witch who mocks the princess. Haley is very upset that Cipollino is not on her side. The lumberjack says that the barn has been completed and invites everyone to come see it. The barn is really spacious and can accommodate both chickens and pigs. We are shown the castle where the harvest festival is taking place. The queen sternly reprimands her son, instructing him to behave well at the harvest festival. The boy is surprised that Asta takes an example from him. The boy didn't even know what Atsa wanted for the holiday. We are shown her past. Asta wants to go to the party instead of her brother. Asta manages to persuade him to let her go on holiday with her brother. Their mother couldn't resist, and now the children are having a great time. They didn't even know then what tragedy this would lead to. If only Maurice had known then that he would lose his sister at the party. They say that the princess escaped and caused a commotion in the castle. The prince was lied to about losing the princess and was replaced with a lie. The grief-stricken mother could not cope with the loss of Asta. Maurice always blamed himself for losing the princess. He constantly tried to atone for his debt to the crown. Maurice was like a doll living for duty. Maurice didn't try to be a happy prince. But then a sister appeared, who was found, and she became a real beauty. Maurice would like to give her sister everything she wanted. But Asta doesn't need anything from him. Asta is glad that her brother decided to take up the zombie business. Maurice can't stand to see all these people clinging to his sister. Asta protects Haley from her brother's wrath. Maurice is obliged to protect Asta from everything that threatens her. He doesn't like that Cyril and Michaelin are hanging around her. Maurice thinks these guys are using his sister. Maris wants to meet Cyril. We are shown a village where our heroes are busy with farming. The woodcutter and Fatima want Haley to do something for the animals. Haley rudely tells them that the animals will figure out how to deal with their relationships. Haley thinks bacon makes people act weird. Cipollino says he misses Ventus. Haley thinks Cipollino is sick. Cipollino says that she herself did not forget that one must fear dark spirits. Cipollino wants to know who he is. Haley tries to calm Cipollino down. Cipollino becomes bloodthirsty, having decided to eat something tasty. Haley is glad that Cipollino is okay. They all decide to celebrate the harvest festival. We are shown Asta's homeland. Maris is ready to meet Cyril. Maris Casnathora is Asta's only and eldest brother, the heir to the throne, and the handsome man of this manhwa. He asks Cyril with interest about his achievements. Cyril believes that Asta will approve of his candidacy as her husband. Maris asks what his relationship is with the witch Haley. Cyril remembers what he said to Asta. He asks Marissa to give him a chance in his relationship with Asta. Maurice doesn't believe that he loves her and insists on his own. Cyril tells him that many people think that he became the heir because of the war, but this is not true. He says it's all thanks to Haley. Maris thinks that all this is for a reason, that Cyril has become the successor to a rich family, and something is wrong here. He reminds him that Cyril and Asta are against the relationship and want to protect his sister from making mistakes. Asta is surprised why Cyril is here. Asta wants to talk about demons, not Cyril. Cyril decides to confess everything to Asta. Asta is interested in what Cyril wants to confess. Cyril decides to tell about his relationship with Haley. Cyril says he's always been afraid of Haley. The local Hogwarts Academy is the best academy with a lot of students. And Haley, from a poor family, was able to enter a place full of aristocrats. Among the haughty aristocrats, Haley remained an outlier. But Cyril decided to lend a helping hand to Haley. Cyril began to like Haley as a student. Haley excelled in all sciences, and she took cruel revenge on those who used her title against her. But it was unclear why Haley loved Cyril. Haley preferred studying magic to being with Cyril. Rules and laws meant nothing to Haley. She even turned to demonology, which horrifies Asta. Haley has always looked for the easier and simpler path in life. Haley killed people and she did it for Cyril. Haley offered Cyril to get his hands dirty with blood, but Cyril did not kill his brother. But then he came up with an idea, falling under Haley's spell. Cyril was afraid that Haley's words always came true. Cyril was always afraid of her and blamed her for killing his brother. Her magic was what Cyril feared. Haley, in Cyril's opinion, is a special girl, but Cyril was always told he was nothing next to Haley. Mickalin incites Cyril to betray Haley. Cyril realizes that if he doesn't get rid of Haley, then he will remain her faithful little dog. Mickalin offers to take away Haley's devilish power. Cyril was supposed to lure Haley out. Cyril therefore made a deal with the Order. Cyril couldn't stand having Haley around any longer. Asta tells Cyril that there is a way out of the situation. She suggests that Cyril apologize to Haley. The harvest season is coming. The pigs are fat. The weather is fine. Cipollino collects potato tubers. Haley, however, expects them to spend money on food. Reichardt takes the records of infected people from her. Reichardt suggests that she unwind instead of reading about criminals. Reichardt wonders how Haley fared last winter. He says that you need to pamper yourself. And so they head to Enif to do some shopping. Haley is horrified at how much money they will spend. Haley asks him if all they have is a shopping list. Haley reads the list and asks to stop the carriage. So they stop in front of a new batch of Walking Dead. Haley and Reichardt believe the zombie is working class and recently infected, but it is impossible to determine who is who from the list. The woman attacks Haley and wants to sacrifice her. The woman is crazy and Haley asks for help. Reichardt says the priestesses were thrown into the contaminated zone. The pursuer is some old man who poses no danger, but judging by the inscriptions, he is quite the pervert. Haley finds out that the old man was a serial killer in the past. Really sweet. Reichardt promises Haley that he will protect her. Haley realizes she can't clear everyone at once, but Reichardt says she doesn't have to save them. Reichardt invites Haley to go shopping. Haley decided not to take failures to heart. Haley had no idea she would meet Asta's brother. Thus, they arrived in Enif, the largest trading city in Kesnathura. Reichardt and Haley are discussing food nonsense again. Haley is greeted by the head of the shop. He suggests that she buy fur because it will soon get cold. He also offers to buy them jewelry. Thus begins Reichardt and Haley's boring shopping trip. They are even mistaken for a couple in love. Haley decided to play a joke on Reichardt that they were dating. Reichardt says it's not funny, but he thinks he likes it. Haley apologizes and says she won't do it again. Haley and Reichardt fall silent, but then Haley becomes awkward in front of Reichardt. Reichardt, fortunately, has a sense of humor and smiles. Haley thinks Reichardt is handsome and has blossomed from the food and life in the castle. Haley believes that Reichardt stole the life of the novel's main male character. Haley and Reichardt decide to talk about Asta. Cipollino told her that they had gone hunting somewhere. Haley thinks this conversation is serious and interesting. Reichardt asks if Haley will accept Cyril's apology. Haley believes that Cyril should apologize not to her, but to the real Haley and Reichardt. Haley remembers her dreams with the real Haley. Reichardt tells her that Cyril will definitely kneel before her. Reichardt promises that Cyril will beg for an apology. Haley realizes Reichardt isn't joking. Haley thinks she should have an affair with Reichardt. Later, Haley asks the shop owner to show her the winter footwear and clothing items, but he says that they will wait. They have an important client. Haley promises to wait, but everything is suspicious. Maris Mare is a puppet prince, Asta's brother. He chooses stones that will not fade for his sister even after his death. Reichardt asks what it is for Haley. He asks Haley what he should do. Haley wonders what the hell the crown prince is doing. Haley has a choice, either Reichardt or Maris. Haley would love to have such a handsome ally in her harem, but she feels uncomfortable around him. Suddenly, Haley realizes something. She realizes that Reichardt and Maris didn't know they were both alive. Maris is shocked that Reichardt is alive. Reichardt doesn't know what to tell her. They don't want to get anything from the main character. Reichardt asks recklessly who Maris is. Reichardt masterfully lies that he wants to buy furs for his girlfriend. Maris notices that Haley is sweating a lot and turning red. Haley is outraged by Reichardt's blatant lie. Haley starts pretending to be sick to get away from Marissa. Haley asks Reichardt to come to her. She tells him that Marissa has a sister complex. Reichardt and Haley decide to leave on good terms. Maris notices this. Damn, he looks like Konami from Vampire Knight. He tells Haley that he didn't expect her to have such a relationship with Reichardt. He slowly removes Haley's hood. Maris figures out Haley's next move. Maris can't admit that it's Haley in front of him. Maris figured out both Haley and Reichardt too. Reichardt rudely asks him what they want from him. The guards immediately want to arrest Haley and Reichardt. Maris says she wants to talk to Haley. Maris asks Haley to give him some attention. Haley is taken in by his beauty and agrees. They move to the far end of the shop and drink tea. Maurice thanks Haley for helping his kingdom. Haley doesn't listen to him, but she doesn't want to fight with him. Maurice thinks that Haley is quite a woman. He is amazed at who Haley really turned out to be. Maurice says he heard she's looking for furs. He gives Haley a bunch of clothes and furs. He says he heard that Haley has a lot of money. He asks Haley directly what she wants. Maurice promises her that she will help drop the charges against Haley. He figures out Haley's motives for revenge. He asks Haley directly what she wants. Haley really wants everything to be okay in the garden, so that she can sleep peacefully. Maurice is shocked that Haley's wish is to do more shopping. She tells of a difficult winter at Moran Castle. Haley and Cipollino don't want to freeze in the castle. We need fireplaces and don't have enough materials for the castle. Haley says the castle is her home. Maurice is amazed at what Haley is asking. Could it be that the greatest villain has found her place in some castle? Maurice talks about what she remembers about her trial. Some wanted to execute Haley, others simply exile her. Maurice supported the order with Haley's exile. Maurice says that banishment to the contaminated zone will deprive the magician of his powers and destroy him. Maurice thinks that Haley has changed. Maurice doesn't even know what to do now. Maurice wants to fulfill any wish Haley has. Haley says she can help him ease the burden of guilt. She asks Marissa, and there is a pause. Haley asks him to buy a cow. Maurice is surprised that Haley only asks for a cow. Maurice bought Haley everything she asked for and promises to help her. Haley wonders if Maurice likes to give away everything and help the poor. Marissa wonders what Haley will ask for. He unexpectedly becomes cheerful and promises to help Haley. She doesn't understand what he needs and why he's so happy. Many say that this is the first time they have heard the prince laugh. Reichardt suggests that Haley get into the wagon, or she will freeze. Haley is uneasy about the situation around her. Haley asks to continue on. At this time, Cyril decides to kill Haley. Cyril waves at them to get their attention. Reichardt grabs Haley and pulls her close. Haley doesn't understand what's happening. Haley asks Reichardt to explain what's going on. Reichardt asks Haley to hide. An ambush awaits them. Cyril appears right there. He threatens Reichardt to give him Haley. Cyril is ready to kill Haley, even if it is treason to the government. Reichardt rushes into battle to protect Haley. Haley is horrified. She did not expect to be killed. Reichardt begins to fight with Cyril. Reichardt also neutralizes the robbers who attacked them. Cyril realizes that he is losing. He attacks Reichardt personally, and their blades cross. Haley wants to stop everything with her witchcraft. Suddenly, a giant bird appears in front of them. The spirit of the bird blows away robbers. Reichardt and Cyril are ordered to stop fighting. Asta appears in front of Cyril, and he is surprised. But Cyril says it would have been possible if Haley had been alive. Haley says she'll see how long Cyril lasts. Cyril attacks Haley, saying that she is not his favorite. Haley says that exile alone won't get him off. He says that, oh, how scared he is of who she is. Haley says his attacks are funny and thanks him for the drama. Haley wonders what other tricks Cyril will pull off. Cyril is frightened by Haley's behavior. Pitch darkness covers Haley, and she develops wings of darkness. Maurice didn't expect this from Haley. Thus, Haley became the Marquise of Demons. Her eyes are simply frightening and mesmerizing at the same time, as are the pair of wings from behind her back. This was the moment when Haley revealed herself to the world. Cyril is horrified by what Haley has become. Maurice eventually put Haley behind bars. Marissa wonders what it was that Haley loved about Cyril. Marissa was informed that Asta had left to stop Haley and Cyril. Maurice doesn't believe Cyril about Haley being the devil's servant. She looked like a simple girl who loved shopping. Maurice thinks that Haley is actually scary and an interesting person, since she is also a demon. At this moment, Cipollino's cry rings through the castle. He is outraged by the events of the night. Cipollino demands retribution against Cyril. Cipollino believes Haley will not be rescued again. Later, Cipollino asks Haley to show him her new energy. Then, Cipollino accuses Haley of not loving him. The princess apologizes to Haley for interrupting this scene, and her bird tries to kill Haley again. She is outraged to the limit. Haley asks Asta what will happen to Cyril. Asta says that the corruption has spread. In short, soon everyone will become orcs, and we will have a Warcraft movie with the exploration of new lands. Asta suddenly turns to Haley. Haley offers Asta to stop the blight. Asta promises that he will make Cyril repent to Haley. Asta believes that Cyril's escape is an act of cowardice. Haley is surprised by the changes in Asta. Cyril now faces execution.